Oh, hi. This way. Just a little.
Wait, is this for class or like what's this for?
Us to get famous.
Or there's one daddy in it.
I know, big sugar daddy vibes.
Oh, I heard like feet coming out of your mouth, and I was like, do they stink?
Honk.
Eat my tea.
You're gonna eat? It's casual.
Jordan, that's not
It's that
You have
casual?
to talk. You can't be like, mama.
Yeah.
But you guys are talking about eat.
Jordan,
You have to be
Jordan.
participating in the on the. I will be.
Yeah, but then we're gonna be talking. You're gonna be like,
Oh,
don't eat.
that's
Can't
the
eat. ASMR,
Sorry, Jordan.
everyone.
If you want to be an influencer, you have to learn the rules.
Oh my god.
I mean, you can sip water.
Anytime water spilled on the floor, I'm like, good. Needs to be cleaned.
Honestly, probably good. The amount of mold under floorboards.
Ugh.
This has been
It
recorded.
is really. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, good. Wait.
Okay,
Oh,
Jordan.
it is recording.
I
Yeah.
told you.
Well, and
Okay,
then
sorry,
that
I
we
just
were
farted.
eating.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna.
Hi, welcome to our podcast that we have to do for our school project.
Hi.
Not them. Hi.
We volunteered.
Welcome to our first Girls Who Kill podcast. I'm here with Jenna, Logan, and Kylie. Do you guys want to introduce yourself and your program and also share your funniest story from Queens?
Oh yeah, I actually have such a good one. My name's Jenna. I'm a fourth year politics student. In terms of my funniest story, if we just throw it back to the days of tilts in first year, I frantically was trying to get into the party because they denied me, so I paid $100 instead of $10.
Like, cause you're in a cowl neck.
I was in a cowl neck with tights and leather boots.
And a crossbody purse.
They were probably like, this fucking mom.
No.
Whatever. Okay. This mom cannot come to our party.
You have
And
to
I was
pay
like,
10
I'm
times.
19. Yeah. You have to tip.
Were you?
18.
Why am I at Calneck at the age of 18?
Why was I doing anything that I was doing at the age of 18?
Didn't we decide that she wasn't eating during it?
Yes.
Give.
I'm eating a carrot though. I'm not supposed to be in it. I have no rules.
Okay.
No, I didn't sign up for this.
I didn't prepare. Chloe wants to know why you're videoing it if it's a podcast. To start influencing.
I
asked the same question.
It's fine, it's fine.
I hope you know how to edit this thing.
No, I'm a YouTuber. Podcaster.
Oh, fuck.
That's the fakest news I have ever heard. Huh?
What?
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, hello, I'm Logan. I'm in global development. My funniest story at Queens is I used to have this really bad fake ID that I bought with Bitcoin. It never worked, literally ever. Got into maybe the spot. That was it. You know, highlight of my career.
Ale.
Yeah, maybe, but they were like, we know it's fake. And I was like, please.
I was sitting get denied when you were in fourth year. Third year?
Me.
Yeah,
I've been denied every single year, except for this year.
Just
Wow.
like,
There's still lots of
I'm
time.
gonna tell the guy, like the girl behind me is a fake.
Dude, I legit will cry.
Okay, let me get through my story.
Again, we don't want to hear
Alright,
it.
so I, bought it at the end of grade 12 with my Bitcoin, whatever.
To be honest, I really don't like Call Her Daddy.
Oh shit. Chloe coming out with this
Okay,
explosive content.
For what reason?
279 breaks up over this.
279 can't record a podcast.
Have you ever had a conversation with anybody? Anyways, I made $900 off of my fake ID because of Bitcoin. Thank you.
And for the record, mine works. I don't know what the fuck. Where the fuck did you order it from?
Although I did get it taken away one time at Ale. Is
Mine
it
was-
discriminating? Are we allowed to talk about this?
Oh shit.
Yes.
Mine got taken away. The guy.
Ale ripped my mouth.
Me too. They took the plastic peel
I
off.
was like, what the heck?
And I was like, oh my god. So then the next time we went to Ale, Chloe was legal. And look at what we and Chloe look like. And she went, and then I went in right after her using her ID.
No.
And I got in.
No.
So like, pardon me.
Racial.
You're racist as
My
fuck.
ID in first year literally had like side bangs.
And then I got another ID, and it said I was 24, and I got in, and I was like, bitch, I am 18.
If you're Asian and
Mine is
Asian
21.
They're so racist here. They don't know what Asians look like.
No, they literally are.
I could be 40,
Asian,
they'd be like-
Asian girl. Yeah, go
It could
in.
be like almost any, like, especially women of color. They'll just be like,
Guys, this year LJ and I used the same ID about 2 minutes apart from each other.
Why did you use a fake ID this year?
I was really black when I left my wallet at Sam's house.
Jenna thinks you, LJ, and Alex Meyer are the same person anyways.
so racist.
Okay, I did the same thing.
Okay,
Wow,
introduction,
exposed.
name, program, funny story from Queens.
Okay, I'm Kylie. I'm in the 4th year Global Development Studies and French. And I think my funniest story from Queens would have to be in 3rd year. And Logan and Bria and I were out on the town, as one may say, and we ended up in a deep conversation with some, I'm gonna say first years. They said they were second, but I think we
What
were
year are
first
you in?
years.
What were you?
We were definitely just a little bit. So they were in first year. We ended up having a interesting conversation with them. Long story short, we ended up in an empty pool and on the ground with some pants down.
Or their lack thereof.
Lack thereof.
Oh my god. Clothing could not stay on that night.
No.
Yeah, you were really.
I was
Logan
okay,
was
let's
doing
go
it.
back.
Logan was doing what she
I was a magician.
Can you
Logan's doing
assume the
magic
picture that you
trick.
have of Kylie on the ground after she
Oh yes. My name's Jordan. I'm in 4th year college.
I don't know, I'm still finding
I
myself.
don't know who I am.
I'm still finding
And
myself.
I'm in this internet marketing class, which is why we're doing this podcast. Because I love marketing.
Big marketer over here.
Big marketer. My funniest story from Queens is last year on St. Patty's, I got a UTI, and I was like, oh, let's distract myself from this, go to the gym, go for a run.
I know.
What?
Did you see my glasses?
No? What are you talking about? You're here imagining things.
I'm not allowed to eat, but you are.
She didn't eat Jordan.
Yeah, it's miming.
Kind of clink.
Our word against yours.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Huh?
Honk.
Okay, it's 2v1.
Our blog is called Girls Who Kill, and basically the whole premise of it is that we want to find inspiring success stories of women and highlight those, as well as we also want to take regular women and demonstrate that you don't have to be some powerhouse CEO unicorn.
Below average.
A regular woman.
That's why I'm interviewing you guys. So in the past we've interviewed Adrian, who's one of the co-founders of 437, and then we also have interviewed April and
Two god tier women and then shit tier.
we also post articles on being how to find a job if you're not Adrian or April.
Yes.
And stuff like that, and we do some fashion advice. So yeah, that's generally the gist of our blog. So my question for you guys is what is your definition of a girl who kills?
To make the world better for other people.
I feel for me, a girl who kills is anyone who just owns their shit. You know, just you do you. And I think at school and stuff, it's especially at a school like Queens where there is a very common kind of culture and common person. It's
I feel there's that culture.
yeah,
Queen's
there's
baddie.
Queen's baddies,
Queen's baddies,
say all of that. Anyone who's just rocks what they do and is themselves and isn't really afraid to do that.
Yeah, and I feel girls who also lift other girls up is part of that girls who kill definition.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's especially an important part here.
Yeah. I'd say it's really about balance. I think it's the person who can really balance everything that we have to do the best. If you can if you're grinding school and you're going to the gym and you're eating healthy and you're just doing the most all the time, I feel those girls are so ambitious and so inspiring to everyone else, and they also they don't give in to. I find those people, what are they thinking of April right now, don't give in to girls or to peer pressure of being oh, you fell off if you don't go out, they're okay, well, see you in 10 years when I'm your boss or I'm coming to the McDonald's drive-thru.
You heard it here first. Girls
Yeah.
who go out aren't going to be your
They
boss.
don't kill.
They will not.
Don't kill.
Yeah.
Except for
just
probably
think-
Jordan, but
Yeah,
that's
also, I think girls, like, a girl who kills is just, like, yeah, like what Jenna said, like, you just do what you want, like, regardless if that's, like, you know, if, like, what you kill at is going to the gym, or if what you kill at is, like, you know, studying and, like,
True.
like, it's whatever you want to be good at and what you want to have your focus on, just, like saying, like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do what I can do and just do my
Yeah.
best at this.
Like, you don't have to be a
Yeah.
superstar at literally everything.
Yeah.
I think also, like, just university is such an I don't know, I just think, like, there's a lot of people that can't do everything, and
But I feel like there's an expectation here that you have to be
yeah,
able to
and
do everything.
I totally agree. So I just think in that way, like, university is a lot. There's a big thing about, like, overcoming these social pressures that I think you'll experience here more than almost. I don't know. Obviously, we haven't lived the rest of our lives, but this is a huge social pressure. Basically, just being able to find yourself and, like, yeah, what you said, be able to find,
not
like,
having to be good at
Yeah.
everything.
yeah,
Like,
and if it's
finding your niche.
exactly, so finding your niche, like,
Also, like, rocking what you're bad at. Like, if
Yeah,
you're bad at
so
something,
true.
like, admitting to it and being like,
and not trying.
yeah, and not
Yeah.
try to just, like, be authentic and just be like, yeah, like, I am really bad at this, I want to work on it, and just, like, appreciating, like, the positives and negatives of your own person. Just being like, yeah, I'm really fucking great at this, and, like, recognizing that, but also recognizing that there are things, like, you're not great at and that you have to, like, push
Yeah.
yourself on.
which I think is really important today with, like, Instagram and everything, where we're all living, like, I mean, you look at anyone's Instagram profile, it's going to be a lot of the same like shit. It's especially here, again, Queens.
Yeah, it's like me at stages,
Yeah,
me at a pre,
well,
yeah.
me at the
Coco,
pier,
like, look at
why
me,
doesn't
like,
anyone
at the
ever post
pier, like,
pictures
I'm
of them
always
at the
drinking.
library?
Yeah, why doesn't
Stockholm
Stock get more
It
love?
has bad lighting, that's why.
It's bad juju. I don't know. I think obviously there's a lot of ways to look at, like, what a girl who kills is, but
Okay, what is your least favorite stereotype about being female?
I was thinking about this.
Oh, sorry, can I start
Yeah,
this
go
one?
ahead.
Yeah.
Here, hold your mic.
This
Hold your
one really just fires me up. And this one dates all the way back to middle school.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow. Oh god.
It's just like, it really pissed me off, even like growing up. And like, I remember guys thinking it was so funny, and like they would always follow up being like, oh, we're just joking. But the women belong in the kitchen. I would literally kill someone.
Kylie goes
Girls who
off. Kylie hulks out.
Girls who kill in the
Cute.
kitchen.
Girls who kill literally.
Well,
Yeah, murder.
murder.
Kylie
Like-
is a girl who kills.
Gotta be. So I just remember I was literally sitting on the bus
An expose.
in grade 7 and 8, listening to these guys in my grade say, oh, like, there's a woman in the kitchen, or like, there's a woman in the living room, like, what's wrong with this picture? And us being like, what the fuck, like, are you talking about? And they'd be, oh, her chain is too long. And I actually slapped
Ew.
someone,
It's the worst
and
thing.
that kind of got me in trouble. But,
Really,
yeah.
really disgusting.
And like multiple, like, you know, oh, I need a new dishwasher jokes referencing getting a new woman. And it
It's
pissed
like,
me
oh,
off.
we need a new dishwasher. It's like,
To
why?
no
There's one right
end.
there.
Yeah,
Oh fuck.
yeah, like shit like that was the worst thing I've ever heard. Like, I think out of all the stereotypes, like, I can't fucking cook, okay? So I don't belong in the kitchen, okay?
You're a good cook.
I
Belong in the kitchen.
Yeah, anyways, it just, like, that one has stuck with me since I heard them, because, like, this went on for, like, literally 2 whole years of just, like, hearing these jokes, like,
My thing, I think, is the idea that girls, like, tear each other down, and I think it's something that we've been, like, you see it all over, like, social media as well as popular media and, like, just culture itself, is that, like, I don't know, it's just always a tearing another girl down or being jealous, being envious, like, it's, I don't know, it's just something that, like, kind of sucks, and I think, I wouldn't say that it's only something that is a female issue.
No,
I think
it's
there's a
males
male
do it too,
stereotype
yeah.
as well, but I think, like, girls especially, there's just this stereotype that we're always going to be, like, out there to stab
Or like
each other.
fighting with each other.
Yeah, and, like, catty and
Yeah,
bitchy
it's
and,
like, oh my God,
nasty. It's
fuck
kinda
that
like-
girl.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
like, we're all, like, supporting.
Yeah, it's like, and, like, I don't know. I think it kind of goes more into, like, the one where it's like, oh, if a girl looks good on social media, people are like, she's only doing it for attention. Like, it's like, what? You know what? Yeah, I fucking am.
Yeah.
If I look good,
It's
I
like
want people
you
to like.
holding your fucking
Yeah.
fish on the boat. Like, whoa.
Social media
It's so much
is
about your
attention.
personality. Like,
What the heck?
I swear every guy has a picture on a boat with a fish.
Every guy from Ontario.
No,
BC,
everywhere.
yeah.
Every guy everywhere
Yeah.
has a fucking picture. With
Why
a
does
fish.
everyone have this picture?
I don't
Because
know.
they
Fish.
think you know what? I think it's in their like
That's their thirst
their
trap.
their like man brain.
DNA and
Literally,
chromosomes.
yeah. It's like you know how like they say women have a maternal instinct. Well, this is their man instinct to be like
Maternal instinct. I love you.
I love you, bitch. I want you.
No, for them
I
it's
love
like
you,
it's like
bitch.
oh look, I hunt,
Although you
I
fish.
provide for you.
That's it too. I felt like it's the easiest form of hunting and
Yeah.
being manly.
Yeah.
Or like manly.
But why would they need to
so
hunt if you're in the kitchen? Making food for them.
they've got you.
They're not very good in the kitchen. That's why they do it.
No, we gotta prepare the fish that they catch.
Yeah, they
So
catch
Oh
the
look, I
fish.
provide for family. Yeah,
My
hit us. Hit me with
least
it.
favorite stereotype is wait, I need to figure out how I'm gonna say this. Is like if a in a like a workplace setting or a professional setting, if a guy's like strong-minded and like knows what he wants and it's like, oh, we should do this, they're like, wow, like he's so driven, he's so dedicated, he's so smart, he knows what he wants. Where like if a female does it, she's so bossy. Like, why would she let
that
anyone
was
else like talk about their opinions? Like, why does she think she knows what's best for this project?
like nasty women.
And I think
stuff.
I think women
Yeah.
overcompensate for that too, because like when I find I'm sending emails or whatever to like someone that like I'm trying to be professional with, I'll throw like exclamation points, be like,
Yeah.
"Hi, I'm just emailing." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Why? Just say
Yeah.
hi. I want this," but I feel like I can't because I don't want to come across as like
No,
bitchy.
And
Yeah.
there's a thing too where women will do like they'll say just more in front of
I
the
see it all the
sentences
time.
just to be like, oh, I'm just doing this. It's almost as if you're trying to like diminish what you're doing,
Yeah.
and then you say, oh, like sorry, there was a campaign
I'm just
on
improving
something.
our sales by 4,000%.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what you wish they
so
said.
annoying.
I don't know.
I think there's a lot of stereotypes I don't like, but this one I find a lot at Queens is the stereotype that girls are always gonna be clingy and are always like always gonna be like, oh my god, yeah dude, like I hooked up with her once and she like won't stop texting me and like oh like don't hook up with her, like she's clingy. It's like, bro, like a lot of times girls are just like they have the same attitude and are just
it's
chill.
whatever. Like,
And it's like you're just putting that onto her, like you
they're so great.
yeah, and they're so
you.
cool. And they're like, oh my god, this bitch keeps texting me. And I'm like, because you're texting her. Like, I'm texting you back. Like, what the fuck are you saying?
And if
You
they're
read their
stalking
messages,
you
they
around
said hey like
stages.
15
Yeah.
times, and she's like, hi. Bro, why are you so clingy?
yeah. It's like, oh, what are you doing tonight? Bro.
Yeah.
chill
Oh, like
out.
I think I love my sweater, dude.
No, but yeah, I think there's a lot of stereotypes about women that are like incredibly untrue and not flattering.
Okay,
For real.
that transitions really nicely into this question about. Let's talk about the party and hookup culture at Queens and how it affects females, both positively and negatively. I don't even know if there is any positive.
Maybe one noodle.
Maybe 7.
Okay, you
I
go.
mean, yeah, it's fucked. First of all,
Pretty much sums it up.
yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know again if it's just a Queens thing,
just a Queen's thing.
Queens things, or if it's like just this age or what. But there's definitely this like every weekend. Look, this is kind of what Logan was saying, so I'm gonna steal your point just a teeny bit. I'm giving you credit, bitch.
What year?
Logan Billard,
Billard,
2019,
2019.
Pita Pit.
Oh.
But yeah, like I think there's this like, oh, you should, not you should, but like you almost, it's ideal or it's better if you're hooking up with someone new every night or like you're going out to hook up with someone, and it's like, why can't we
Makes
just
it more
have it?
fun.
Yeah,
I can't have a
exactly.
good
Like
night with
I
my
just want to
pals,
have a,
like-
I just want to have a fun night with my bros being dudes. That's
What's
it.
better than that? Guys
Exactly.
being dudes.
Guys
Bros
being
being
dudes.
Bros being dudes.
Chilling in a
Girls being bros being dudes. Revolutionary.
But yeah, I think like the culture is very driven around, like the Queen's culture is very driven around like hooking up with someone and being like contributing. Like, you know, like the next morning you go for brunch or whatever and it's like, oh my god, let me tell you about last night. The whole conversation is around your crazy story, and it's like, if let's say one of us goes out and like we have the best night ever, we're just hanging out with each other, like, you know, like I don't want to leave my friends, like I'm having such a good time, and we go home the next morning, no one wants to hear that. Everyone wants to hear the interesting tea. Like, no one's gonna know, yeah, we danced for 3 hours and it was really fun. People are like, who did you hook up with?
I
Like,
genuinely feel like people will like do it or like hook up with people who they're like, oh yeah, like whatever, like not down.
Yeah.
Just so like the next morning they're like, yeah, like I hooked up with someone. Like it's like cool, but like did you want to?
Yeah.
Like is that like
and it's like a fine line because you want to support people who are doing that, because there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you want to hook up with a different person every night, if you want to hook up with one person, if you want to hook up with 0 people, like, every one of those options is okay. But I just think the culture of Queens doesn't allow for anything but hooking up with many people.
And I think the difference is, like, of course there are people who want to go out and hook up with people every night, and that is, like you said, totally fine.
Like, do it.
Power to you.
Yeah.
But there's those people that don't want to and feel like they have to.
Exactly.
And that's the fucked
Or
up
they just
part.
feel like a loser if they
I
don't.
find it's like,
They
so it's like they're
way.
they're just trying to conform. So like inherently, like they just don't want to, right? Like they go out and they like hook up with someone. They're like, did I like him? No. Am I ever gonna talk to him again? No. Like, do I feel kind of shitty about it for like the next week? Yeah. And that's like,
It's like, but at least I got to contribute, and then it's like, why is that important?
And
Why
that
are our
story lasts
conversations?
for, what,
fun story.
2 minutes?
Yeah, but it's like, why are our conversations even around that? Like,
Also, I find, like, if we think back to first year and just, like being completely honest, I hadn't had sex in first year, and I think there's this huge push to, like, go crazy in first year. Like, people go wild. And
even all of university, it's
yeah,
like, oh my god,
I feel like
crazy.
first year, because we're so young, like, people think we're old, and at the time we're all like, oh, we're so old. But, like, you look back, people are 18, 17, like, people are babies. And, you know, there's this huge ideal, I don't know, just a lot, like, I think it's the first exposure a lot of people have to, like, this kind of hookup culture. And fourth year, it's almost like you're, like, not veterans, but you know how to handle the situation a lot better.
100%.
I think first year is where, like, people who, for example, like, I wasn't going out hooking up with people, and it, like, definitely took a bit of a toll, because I was kind of like, oh gosh.
And then you're like, what's
Like,
wrong with me?
is it something wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like, am I not, like, attractive enough? Am I not putting myself out there? Am I not doing things right? Am I, like, less valued as a person for not doing these things?
For sure.
And, like, now, obviously, me speaking 4 years later, like, it's, you know, I've kind of found myself in this position of being like, I can do what I want, and, like, whether that's me hooking up with a bunch of people or me not hooking up with anyone, like, there's no bad thing as long as you're being safe and everything.
Yeah, and that
like, I just don't want people to talk about it. It's like, my, like, ideal situation is I do whatever I want and nobody talks about it. But the thing is, because it's such a talked about thing, that I'm like, people have to be talking about it, and it's like,
But do you
so
mean, like,
hard.
other people talking about you?
Yeah, other people talking about me, like, oh, like, you know, she's a prude, oh, she's being a slut, like, I don't want anyone talking judgment, like, judging me, like, why does this affect you? Why is what do I do that affects you? Nothing. Unless, am I trying to sleep with you? If I'm not, then, like, doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I think that's what you're saying.
Is she trying to sleep with you?
Probably.
Logan.
That little
Find out next time if Logan slept with me.
Which time?
I don't know. Logan and I have slept together 4 times.
Oh my god!
Why can't people just not talk about it?
Guys,
Let's not talk about it, please! Okay, it was a cute sleepover. People the sexual expression to be normal and, like, sex positivity. It's very sex positive.
Yeah.
I think just sometimes it comes at the cost of being negative. It comes at the cost of being negative to people who maybe aren't engaging in that behavior.
Speaks to the position that males have in supporting females in the workplace, and how can we, like, sort of help them to help us, like, be allies, kind of thing.
I think one of the biggest, like, things about being an ally is speaking up when it's hard, and speaking up when it maybe doesn't benefit you to speak up. And, like, that even goes for us, like, with women of color. Like, there's a lot of times where you're in situations where someone says something and you're like, that wasn't really appropriate, but they didn't say it to me. So, like, it's not my place. And it's like, no, like, you know what, you don't know how, like, that person feels, and you should probably stick up for them. And just, like, if a guy says, or if a guy notices that something is unfair or something's kind of weird, like, say something, because sadly, like, your voice sometimes has more power than, like, our voice.
That being said, though, I think you could also argue the fact that, like, I feel like when people speak up, you then will get the backlash of, like, oh, well, like, why do you think I can't stand up for myself? You know? And, like, I've heard that a lot, is, like, people, if a man stands up for a woman, like, in the workplace, for example, she'll be like, okay, well, like, I could have done that myself. Like, you almost just made that situation worse for me, because now it looks like I don't have the balls to stand up for myself.
Yeah.
But, like, same thing with women of color. Like, I've actually heard women of color say they hate when white people stand up for them, because they're like, I don't need you to do
I think
that.
you just need to make sure you're distinguishing between taking over the situation or supporting from the back.
Yeah.
Because
I know,
it's
but I
the
think
same.
there's a very fine line,
Yeah, of
and
course
not
there
everyone
is.
can
But
see
it's
it.
the same issue as like when white people try to stand up for Indigenous people. They like using your power as a white, like your power imbalance and your settler kind of colonialist blah 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 to stand up. Obviously, is like you do have a bit more recognition in the system, but like you need to you do need to walk that fine line, and it's the same thing in the workplace. And be able to like not come in and step forward, but almost support from behind and lend a voice when necessary, versus like taking over the situation.
Yeah, like you don't want to quiet someone's voice and like shut someone up to be like, no, that was wrong. Like obviously you have to read the situation, but like being an ally means being supportive and
being educated.
And being educated.
Yeah.
So like
is a huge issue that isn't going to start with a guy like speaking up. It's going to start with actual systematic reform and change. And I think there you have to look at issues of toxic masculinity as well.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of problems rooted in power imbalances, whether it's gender or race or anything. But like if we really start to educate people, and if people take it upon themselves to like want to be educated, then there'll be a big shift.
But yeah, like
I
it's,
think-
and like Jordan and I talked a lot in the summer.
Oh
Like
my
we
God,
had
yeah.
a lot of instances in our own work where we were like, this is really uncomfortable because women talk to each other. I didn't realize that in my work I was uncomfortable with a certain person and I just didn't talk about it because I was like, I must be like overthinking it or whatever. And I talked to other women who I worked with and they're like, no, I felt the same this whole time. I'm like, well, if all of us think this, why isn't anything being done about it?
Yeah, it's tough too if you feel like your job is on the line because of it.
Yeah.
Like that is so. How do you deal with that? Especially if you're like, you know what, it's not really a big deal. It just sometimes kind of makes me uncomfortable. It's like, am I going to lose my job because sometimes I feel uncomfortable?
And
No.
especially like young women in the workforce. I think you could frame it anyway. You could say there needs to be individual action, which is just like daily kind of conversations.
Yeah.
But there also, again, needs to be like institutional action where companies understand that this happens here and like create these spaces. And then I think like governance and the structure of this society as well.
I feel like it's super idealistic because like I feel like at a lot of workspaces there's like a boys club and it's like
Oh, yeah.
it's hard to fit in with that, and like part of that culture is like being like super macho or like what, like, oh, like boys club, like beers and boys and poker, and it's just like if people in boys clubs see you like trying to be an ally, they'd be like, oh, like why are you so soft? Like,
yeah, like you know, you're
like,
such a pussy man. Like
I just like feel like there's a lot of barriers to people being like, oh, I acknowledge and recognize.
Yeah.
Just know.
Fun fact: did you know that like I don't know when this was set or like I don't know where it came from, but like the average temperature in an office.
Yes. Oh my god.
It's supposed to be
so
set
insane.
perfectly for someone in a suit.
But even like the whole ergonomics, the ergonomics of offices, the office, like the chairs, the desk, it's like for men. And it's not like actually engineered to be comfortable for women. Like it's not supposed to be like, oh, it's uncomfortable for women, but it was engineered for men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like women work better in warmer environments, but the office is usually set to a colder temperature.
Yeah.
Which
Even
like
around,
there's such
around
fun fact
30,
about this.
like that it still
Yeah.
exists, and everyone thinks like that's not even a thought anymore. They're like, no, our generation is so different. Like it's really not.
in
like,
my
it still
politics,
exists.
my politics of resentment class, we were looking at gender resentment within politics, which is obviously massive. Like you see way more men in politics than women, but there was a study done in Canada that first of all, like you're more likely to get another woman in a leadership role such as prime minister if there's already been one, especially if there was just one. But the people who are the least willing to have a woman as a prime minister are men aged 18 to 35.
Really?
Yeah. More so than men aged 65 plus, more so than middle-aged men. 18 to 35 are the least likely to support a female leader.
Probably because they're the most insecure with like women.
Yeah,
power.
it's crazy,
But
and
it's
it's
like-
not like it's not a small margin. It's a pretty significant margin.
Well, it's the fear of like giving up a piece of the cake. Like they don't, they want it also.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't like. And it's the same thing when you look at like anything. You have like the whatever dominant group of people, like white straight men. There you go. And it's like, not all of them, not all men, but you know, like a lot of it's like the fear of giving up that power and letting, like, once you let, you know, one woman become a CEO and like, or prime minister, and she does a good job, then it's like, oh, we're gonna have women prime ministers for the next 100 years. Like, why not? We've had men prime ministers for the last 150 years.
It's just like,
Why
I think
not?
it's exposure as
Giving
well.
up a piece of the cake.
Yeah.
It's about making it bigger.
Exactly.
So that everyone, like,
There's no one losing.
Yeah.
You're not losing something, and you didn't even own it in the first place.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's not
it's
yours to
really,
take.
it's
Yeah.
super interesting. Like, it's not, obviously not our peers, but it is people our age.
I
And
think
like,
we're like,
our, like, age
removed from a lot of it just
Mhm.
because of like we hang out with like-minded people. But
Yeah.
It-
But I think, like, it gets ingrained in women's, like, I remember when I was in probably grade 10 or 11, and I was thinking about what I wanted to do when I grow up. And I was like, okay, well, for my 20s, I want to travel and work and, like, you know, go all over. But then I need to get a job where I'm in Canada and I'm local so that I can, like, get married and have a family, and that I have to be, like, I was, like, 15 or 16. I'm like, why do I have to think about, raising a
I
family?
made a huge point. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like I make a huge point of every time being like, oh, like, are you gonna like marry a successful man? I'm like, no, I'm gonna be the successful
Yeah.
woman. Like, anytime anyone ever says something, they're like, oh, like, you're gonna like, or you're gonna have
rich
kids,
man.
you're gonna like.
But also normalizing
marry-
not having kids.
Yeah,
like, if
that's
you, like,
true, too.
right now, you're like, I don't want to have kids. Like, very fair. Don't have kids then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No issue there.
No.
And it kind of ties in to this idea of like female leadership and female confidence to be in leadership roles, is that the way our society is structured basically puts women down a path, as we all know. Obviously, it's you see it from like the games that we play as toddlers to like where we are
Nurture
now.
versus nature.
Yeah, like we go play like house and stuff, but
Yeah. And boys go play pool.
yeah, and stuff like there's like a
cops and robbers. Yeah.
genderization or whatever that word is
Yeah.
of different roles, but men are more likely to apply to jobs and do things that are out of their like league essentially
Yeah.
than women are, because they have been fostered into this idea of like confidence and building confidence.
Yeah, like, you can achieve
through-
anything.
But like,
Oh, like,
even,
like
they say
be a
things like
man. Like, oh
yeah,
my
they
God.
use things like examples of sports teams throughout school. Like, men are usually more likely, like, I think this is changing now, which is good, but men are more likely to enter into aggressive sports teams or contact sports teams or just competitive sports in general.
So there's like, I can't remember the exact numbers, but for job applications, you know how they list all the criteria. So men will apply for jobs when they meet like 60%. I'm not 100% sure of the numbers, but it's something around 60% of the qualifications. Whereas women will only apply if they meet like over 90%.
My dad fully, like, just a real time experience. He looks at applications and stuff, and he'll be like, yeah, like, the women who apply to me are incredibly overqualified, and the men that apply are incredibly underqualified, but are just like, yeah, I'm gonna apply. And women are like, okay, well, like, maybe I'll apply, but like, probably won't get it. It's like, you're overqualified. Like, go for a better job. Like,
Yeah.
but we always diminish ourselves to be like, oh, like, they wouldn't want to hire me. Like, it's like, no,
Oh,
yes, they do.
Tangent here.
But we
really
do that.
did.
We do that in any work. I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
Like, even at my job, like, I spent the entire summer like managing a team of people, and the whole time thinking like, oh my God, like, maybe I should just see what they want. Like, maybe I should like not make this call. Like, maybe like, oh my gosh, do people think I'm too young? Do people think I'm like that there should be a man running this like program? Like, that those thoughts ran through my head all summer, and I'm not even gonna lie. I had people who tried to confirm some of those responses because they're assholes. But like,
assholes.
yeah, like,
Big assholes.
well, they are, and they tried to like say like, I actually had someone say, "You're a child. You shouldn't be running this program," and it hit me hard because like it's one of those like insecurities that like I feel like a man probably wouldn't have had in my position.
Oh yeah, I think the confidence is just like men are basically raised. I think it's also important, like, there are a lot of issues with, like, again, toxic masculinity, and I think it's important to frame. I ideally would like to see change where men can also be a lot more accepted than the one static role that they are always like brought into or kind of forced into. But women, just as soon as you're born, essentially, like, it's kind of like your confidence is cut.
Sharp left
Oh,
lane.
yeah, literally. It's like that meme where it's like you could be confident and qualified, or you could be super like not confident and just not do anything.
And I'm like, no, that way.
Yeah, exactly. But
I was just gonna end it with like one piece of advice for females, for women. Kind of on the theme of like girls who kill.
I would just say don't take any shit from anyone. Like, be like the most that you want to be. Like, if you have huge hopes and dreams, go for it. Like, if you don't. Like, if you know exactly what you want to be, because I feel like we also never touched on, like, if you want to just grow up to raise a family, like, that's also okay. Like, just whatever choice you make, that's fine.
Like, no shame in what
no
you
shame.
do.
Like, just be the best you can be at what you want. You know? Like, don't let anyone tell you, like, that you should fit into some cookie cutter idea, and, like, go at your own pace.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I always, like, my aunt, when I was maybe, like, 10 years old, gave me a book, and everyone knows this quote, on the front cover she wrote, like, well-behaved women really make history.
Ooh.
So it's like, you know, be kind, be open, listen to people, like, listen to people's experiences, but, like, fuck that shit, like, just absolutely overthrow everything that's in your way. Like, if there's a barrier to what you want to do, overcome it. You know, and find a supportive area, a circle of people, and, like, women who will support you and who will, like, help you overcome that. Because women, like Jenna's saying, like, women are, like, good friends, and we have such supportive networks.
We build
So it's
each other
like,
up.
exactly, we build each other up. So find a good supportive, like, circle of friends and just go rock your shit.
I think for me, like, I would say never, like, be afraid to, again, like, take that step. And whether that's whether it's a small step to someone, it might be really big to you if that's confronting an uncomfortable situation, or maybe coming to terms with an uncomfortable situation. Like, don't be afraid to be vulnerable and seek help and, like, talk to each other, essentially, because again, everybody has, like, women experience this everywhere, like, experience multiple or, like, similar issues, and I think the best way to see change is through, like, group action and stuff. So if people start, like, talking and are just afraid to, like, kind of start those conversations, I think we could see a lot more change within, like, the workforce and school and society as a whole.
And, like, don't be afraid to be different.
Yeah.
Like, at Queens, like, don't be afraid to, like, not be a Queens baddie.
Yeah.
I seem to be selling really well that one.
Yeah.
It's fine not to be a Queens baddie, okay? It's fine.
Non-Queens baddies talk about how it's okay to not be a Queens baddie. Like,
Cry about it.
Not clickbait.
yeah.
What's your advice, Jordan? You're not even in the camera.
Jordan, you're a little bummed. Why?
Honestly, like, you need to channel the energy of a mediocre white male. Like, not to generalize.
It's not all men.
Yeah, not all men.
It's like, apply for jobs that you think you're underqualified for, because, like, odds are you're probably overqualified. Like channel that energy of, like, I'm so great, even, like, when you're a mediocre white male.
I love that.
Well,
I'm a
thanks so
mediocre
much,
white man
Jordan.
at heart.
Yeah, Jordan,
Okay,
thank
thanks
you
for being
so
so
much.
letting me go off.
Very first podcast ever that will never be repeated because it's for a school project.
Well, thank you
Thanks.
so much for having us on the show.
What's my prize for being on the show?
Yeah, Jordan, do we get,
hold
like,
on. What? Okay,
do
sorry.
we get something
Can I get, like,
for
some
being on the
credit?
show?
Yeah. Can I, like,
You can have.
Can I do a research pool now?
It works like that.
Oh,
If you want more fun information on Girls Who Kill, make sure to follow our Instagram at Girls Who Kill with 3 L's. And
Doing it
also
right
check
now.
out our website. I'll put the link in the bio.
Doing it right now.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Are you gonna stop recording?
Women suck!
Fuck that. That was
Fuck
such a
everything
funny
you just
one.
said.
Women are
We all
garbage.
want Trump to win
It's
the
still
election.
recording.
I know, that's why I'm saying.